Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Logically Speaking. I'm your co-host today, Lamar Alcorn. That's my name. Don't wear it out. And today I'm joined by a panel of very delightful and intellectual and factual and all the above type of people. To my right.
Hey, you have Chelsea. I'm back again.
To my left.
How y'all doing? It's Jerica Roy. I'm back again to join y'all.
And y'all know me, Ship the Bishop, your man Bryce Rashad. How you doing?
All right. Nice to have y'all on. Today on this episode, we will be discussing...
We're discussing cohabitating and hobosexual.
Cohabitating and hobosexuals. Mm-hmm. That sounds so funny. Hobosexual. That's just, I don't even know what to think of that, but you know, we'll tap into that. But for the first topic of cohabiting, I would like to know, since we have these two lovely ladies and this gentleman over here, I want to know, what are your thoughts on cohabiting?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I honestly have, from my experience with cohabitation, at this point of my life, and my thing that I would recommend to everybody else is, if you're not on the path to getting married, like have a date set, like we're getting married on December 31st, 2023, and that is the end goal, don't do it. Because if you're just living with each other just for the sake of living each other, that's how you end up being 30 years a girlfriend. And nobody wants to do that.
It's funny because there was a topic that came up, I believe earlier today, about this whole cohabitating. And I kind of want to know the thoughts as far as, if you don't mind me taking over a little bit. When a woman say, you need to pay these bills or we can't talk, type of thing, or you can't live here unless you're paying the whole mortgage. I personally, I guess I'll give my 2 cents on that, is I think that as long as two people are contributing, I'm not the type of woman to feel like, oh, I can't talk to you unless you paying you paying the light bill, mortgage, house note, car note. I'm not that type of person, but I do feel like two people should be able to contribute equally.
Okay, equally. So so you're talking about splitting it down the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay. I was like, I need my brother to say
me myself personally, I'm not for it.
Okay.
I believe everybody should have their own place. And the reason why I say that is because people need their time to grow, experience themselves, learn themselves. You know what I'm saying? Before you just move in with somebody. Like she said, if you're on that path to getting married, maybe a year out from it or something like that, then okay.
Yeah.
Because you do need that time to learn each other.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But if you just shacking up.
Oh, then no. No, I think I'm talking as if we already at that level. Yeah.
Well, because that also kind of,
those are people just shacking up.
Yeah. But you can also say, like, did we ever have that discussion? Because most people probably don't even have that discussion, and then they just keep going year after year, and we haven't really distinguished what we really want out of this relationship.
And I will have
shacking
to
up
agree with you. And, also to kind of tag off what Bryce said, every person that is an adult person needs to live by themselves at some point. And if you're somebody that you're just living with somebody like, hey, baby, I know that we solid and we've been doing this for a while, but these bills is getting too high, so we might as well just combine what it is that we got with no end goal in sight, then how is that really helping?
You're handicapping yourself.
Exactly.
Correct.
But then also that's kind of like when we're in the dating stage, what are we looking for? So are you saying that, okay, well, if you're the woman, you're making a good salary for the year, you're probably making about $60,000. I'm making about $30,000, so are you gonna, would you expect me to do more because I'm a man, or we kind of have to You know, because I will say this only because I have a friend who pretty much says that, well, I guess in her take, that a man should have to cover everything. So that means you're going to cover the mortgage, you're going to cover the car payments, insurance, and the woman, she's like, I will cover, you know, like whatever's the household and maybe like, you know, like the little utility bills.
I guess the question that I would have to ask that man is, what role do you want to be in your relationship? If you want to be a provider or somebody that calls yourself taking care of your family, because part of being a provider is providing, making provision. Now, if that is something that you want to do, that means that you're going to take on the bulk of the bill. Now, if that is not something it is that you want to do, then you need to be with somebody else who's willing to meet you in the middle of whatever it is that you want. If you want a partner, hey, we split everything down the middle. There are people out there that will do that. But if you're calling yourself a provider and you're calling yourself somebody that is, hey, I want to be the head of my household, you got to take on the head of the household expenses. So what kind of man do you want to be?
Yeah, so even with that, you know, they have those old traditional ways where, if I take care of these bills, well, you can't work, or, you know, you can't go to school, or I want you to be this homemaker. Versus now you come into a situation where you have two people that have decided that we're going to date with a purpose. We in this for longevity, you know, I may, as the woman, make more, and, you know, maybe you don't. We'll figure out a budget, and we'll figure out what bills you can handle, what bills vice versa. Now, I had a situation where you come into the relationship with something, as we decide to move in together, but then your situation changes. So now you lose a job, and now, as that woman, now she's picking up the slack, but next thing you know, it turns into a whole year.
Okay.
I think that you are going to have to prepare for that moment in the event that somebody is not working if you're living with them. Because there's going to come a time where, hey, let's just say a woman has a baby. She's not going to be able to work for some time. Or if a man gets in a situation where he gets laid off from work. So it's very important that everybody keep the income going. And everybody make sure that they have something to contribute to the household. Even, let's just say, for example, right? Man, he take care of all the bills. He take care of the electric bill, the rent, or the mortgage, the cars, the car note, everything down the line. Now, as a woman, what do you want? What do you need to do with your income? Hey, you might do something like light bills, groceries. If y'all have kids, stuff for the kids. But always make sure that you're putting money back. Always make sure that you're putting money back. I think people get into these habits where they spend more than whatever it is that they're making, or they're spending just as much as they're making. But there should always be at least one person in the relationship that is making sure that they are taking care of the savings and the investments.
Or just even making sure that you're contributing, like, you know, not equally, but at least I'm putting some back on this free check, and you're doing that so we can grow it. Because I know that last time I wasn't on it, but I was behind the scenes. But when we talked about, you know, the secret bank accounts from the last episode, so I'm all for a woman having, that tuck away money, because sometimes you never know what can happen. But that's kind of like if you're saying that, it's something that I don't know about, but then I feel like now in today's society, we've moved away from tradition, because in my opinion, I would say that, I think it depends on where that person is at when you come with them, when you get into a relationship with them. Because for you, you have your own house, you have your own all that, and then someone like me, I have my own house and everything too. So are we going to leave both of those homes and then get a new one? Or, what are we going to, moving forward?
I remember Bryce said he's not moving in with a woman unless,
nope.
his name is on it. So that is another
unless it's
that's why.
Not putting me out.
No, you're not putting him out. And look, and if something happens, you ain't putting me out.
Right.
So that's why if we just gonna do that, you got yours, I got mine. Look, what we need to do is we need to get up and get a house or a space for us together. So that way you can't put me out and I can't put you out.
because I got people who, you know, they have that mentality of, okay, well, I'm a woman. I got all this on my own. I've dealt with men that never had their stuff together, you know, and at the end of the day, I'm trying to better myself, because if this man can't provide for me, I'm going to provide for me. So that means if I do get in a relationship with you and, you know, it don't work out, you leaving because this is my house. This is my mortgage payment, you know. So, you know, is that mentality okay? You know, as your...
Well, that goes to that control. that also speaks on someone being controlling and using what they've done for you. If things don't go as ideal as they would feel them to, then we talk about, well, you know, you can get out, or, well, you not, you know, you doing this and this and that, and this is not what I agree with. Or, you know, giving that ultimatum of how they should be in a relationship. So that's where, if you guys don't have that open communication to determine what the expectations is in the beginning, and set a clear, defined definition of what you guys are doing, then you have that whole thing where people keep tally marks of, well, I did this and this, or, well, you ain't doing this, so you can leave. Or a man can do that too.
And that's the reason why, like I said, if you're not on that path for marriage, have your own stuff.
True.
You don't have to worry about that.
Married people do that too. We can get something together, and you do something bad enough, you don't think they're going to still put you out their house?
Yeah, she got a point. She has a point. But, you know, a question.
My name on them papers. I ain't going nowhere.
I do have a question, though. And this is something that I'm really thinking about. If you do 50-50, is 50-50 really 50-50? Let's talk about this. Now, if it's 50, it might be 50-50 wage-wise. Let's say y'all both are lawyers. Y'all both have the same job. Y'all both been in the same business. You get paid more than she do. That's not 50-50. No. And then another thing about 50-50, okay, let's say you a man, you don't do no housework for real. She do the housework, so she puts in half of her income to pay the bills. But she does all the housework and does all the child rearing. So in the end, 50-50 is never really 50-50 because somebody's always doing more.
We cut grass, ma'am.
Your boy, cut grass. Cut it.
We're going to pay somebody to cut the grass. I ain't cutting nobody's grass.
For you to cut the grass.
I ain't doing all that. I ain't cutting nobody's grass. I'm paying somebody. That's going to be part of the grass.
I do a very good job.
Well, come cut mine, because mine is up there.
You ain't saying nothing but a word, brother. I can put you on the schedule.
I've actually decided that I wanted to cut the grass. I was going through this thing in my mind, like, oh my God, I want to get outside to cut some grass. So I went and bought me a lawnmower and a trimmer.
Okay.
Now,
Want me to put you on schedule too? I got you.
And my son's supposed to be doing it, but I done took over. So
I got allergies. I ain't cutting no grass.
Well, you know what? And I think like most of the time they say that women, like, I know I would, you know, just in general, just like see a woman mowing the lawn. I'm like, why are you mowing the lawn? That's not, you know. But then you think about, like, some women love lawn care. They love the flowers. They love everything. So you gonna get it how you really want.
I have an aunt that does her own lawn. She does. She enjoys. She plants the flowers. She mows the grass. But her husband got really bad allergies and asthma, so I don't think she really had a choice.
So, you know, going back to what you were talking about the 50-50 thing. So for me, I would say that, because I know, you know, I know I talked about this with Corey. I feel as if that when we come to this relationship, you know, from like what my friend was saying about, okay, well, the man's going to take care of this, this, and this. I'm sorry, but you know, what you had to take, you know, what you had to take care of prior to our relationship is what you're gonna continue to. Because I did not, you know, your car payment is not gonna be my car payment. You chose to get that car just like I chose to get my car. I'm not paying your car payment. You've been paying. You've been paying this.
But you got something.
You know what? That's fair though.
That is fair.
You know,
unless you want to. Right?
Yeah, unless you want to. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, right, because I'm like, no, what you already had, even with any type of debt that you already had, you want to continue to take care of. Whoa. Now, if you need some little help, I'll help you.
There we go.
But I'm not taking your financial responsibility.
So you walk in.
Boyfriend.
As a husband, that's not boyfriend responsibilities.
So you come in with your own built-in prenuptial agreement.
Right.
I guess. I don't know. The conversations you got to have, and no one's having those.
People aren't having.
You know,
Gates and rules of the nation.
Yeah.
You know, because I even have people like I have a friend who just got a car. Like, well, her husband wanted to get her another car versus they have a car. They have other cars. But, you know, if I'm still making payment on this car, why would I want to go get another car to make another payment and then you still got this other car? That's too many payments. So, like, don't do something just to satisfy me, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's making those payments versus I know as a man, you know, we want to make sure our lady has some nice things, but is it within reason? Is it something that we know that we're going to be able to afford? Mm-hmm. You know, so like we're talking about these conversations that we're supposed to be having. I feel like not enough people are having these conversations, and then they get into this relationship and they don't even know how to really manage everything. You know, the finances all over the place. You know, there's, you know, like, what are we doing? Right. You know,
I agree with you.
Well, I definitely agree with you on that.
But I will say that, and it's funny because I was watching this last night with the Atlanta Housewives. Yeah. So it was the episode where Candy and Todd, like, you know, he kind of felt that because she, you know, is this big celebrity, she's doing all this stuff, and that whenever he does his stuff, he does not, like, no one knows, and so he wants more recognition. Yeah. So, like, what do you think about that?
I think that I saw that episode.
Yeah, I did too.
And I thought it was interesting because, I mean, he was a guy that basically married the sun. So you know how it is whenever you have the sun shines bright all day. Everybody sees the sun. Yeah. You don't really see the moon unless you up at night. Right. So whenever you're dealing with somebody who is a public person and they are a public figure, you kind of do pay that background supportive kind of person. So Candy is definitely the son, but I like how supportive he is of her. He never stands in her way. Yeah. And he is a man, I've noticed, that does try to keep some of his own things going.
Yeah. But I think and one thing that he was saying was that, we're not, I'm very supportive of you, and he was making that known, but he just felt that he was not, like, when it comes to something that he wants to do, that she's going to feel like she's left out when, you know. Yeah,
but I saw it too, and I think that it just goes with just having that this communication, because I do believe she supports him. Mm-hmm. I do understand his perspective. For them, they're looking at, she don't want him to have his own, but I don't see Candy as that type. I really truly believe it was.
But but with the little condo thing. Yeah. But then he's like, well, how come I can't have this condo, because we can fix it up and do something with it, but you have your house, I moved into this house, and we never bought nothing together. So it was kind of going from different angles, you know, like they don't have nothing together. He moved in and she was already established. I mean, he was too, but he just, you know. Yeah.
I think that the condo was actually pretty nice. I saw that and I was just like, why can't y'all keep this? And he said specifically, I want this to be something, you're coming to New York doing your thing, I want to have something from whenever I come home to he's like, I want to have my family here. And in her back of her mind, she's still thinking about an ex, but everybody's telling her, like, no, you need to keep it. It was a nice
and just too. You know, some little flipping like that, there's gonna be a spot.
Well, that's why cohabitating, that's why it's important to know who you laying in the bed with. Yes. I do personally feel like you should cohabitate before marriage, but that's another conversation. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's important, you know, to have that open communication.
Yes, have the conversation so we know what we need to be doing when we're coming to the table together.
And it also lets you know who it is that you're dealing with and what it is that they expect. Yes. As long as nobody has any expectations, you're going to go everywhere but your destination.
Yes. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are here to discuss the second half of this discussion on hobosexuals. That name, though.
You know, the internet is an interesting place, because that was the first time I heard it. I was like, what's a hobosexual?
I'm like, is this an orientation? What is this? Is this a new
Oh.
Variant? Something, I don't know.
Well, the Twitterverse is something else. So let me define for you guys what a hobosexual is. A hobosexual is somebody that ain't got nothing, ain't never had nothing to their name, and they see somebody that they like, or just somebody to just put up with their mess, and then next thing you know, they just move into their house. Wow, there they go. They live there now. Them, they PlayStation, and they clothes.
Wow.
Maybe a dog too.
People actually do it. They don't even realize they're doing it till they hear, oh, wait a minute, I was that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know one in particular, but you know, no names today. So yeah, I personally, I have had that experience where, you know, I had a guy that I was dating. Now, I'm going to say he was definitely disguised because he, you know, said he had all these things and somehow was still making things happen. He at one point did have a job, and then all of a sudden he lost the job. And so now we're deep in dating in the relationship, and I had all the red flags, and then I let him move in. And next thing you know, a year went by, he still didn't have a job. And when he did get a job, and he paid the first bill, was a light bill, and we had an argument. And I was going out of town to go visit family. I got a notification that he did a chargeback for the one bill he paid.
No. You know what, though?
Wow.
Don't feel bad, because that's usually how it happens. It's never like all-out situation. They start off, they look like they got it going on. They got a job. They're being a good, attentive boyfriend. But it get cold outside. And then somewhere around the line, they get caught down real bad, and they need somewhere to stay. And they say, look, she got loving arms, and she got a warm home. I'm coming in there.
What was they doing to distract you?
You know what they was doing.
Well,
Must have been putting it down for you to be the.
Well, no, it was actually. I know for me, I should have seen it coming. But you know, in the beginning, we actually nowadays what I find hard when you're dating, no one actually goes out to date and get to know. So we had date nights. We were spending time together. Okay. We were getting to know each other. He was communicating.
So he was doing all the right things.
Doing all the right things. Yeah. But what I should have known was my mistake. The first day he moved in, I found out he was cheating. That was my red flag.
Oh.
But we had already built up so much. And when I asked him about it, I was expecting for him to be dishonest about it. Then I would have had a reason to be like, But we had an adult conversation. Here I am, you know, being forgiving and understanding, hey, this ain't going to happen again. So then, you know, he was communicating. He was, you know, doing all these things and making an effort to, you know, had a plan, had a goal. You know, and so time goes on, and he's getting comfortable. Whole closet full. You know, he comfortable. Then sold all the cars he done had to make it. Now he don't have a car. So now I'm like, I'm in it. I'm not going to just put him out, because now it's more of supporting my man, uplifting him, being that, you know, motivation that you're supposed to be in support. But it just wasn't genuine on his end, because then another instance came over, he was cheating. So now we're deep in.
So this is what they do, right? It's a trick. It's a trick. You got to pay attention, man. You got to keep your eyes open. This is what they do. They do just enough to get you mentally and physically and emotionally invested in them. Like, oh, I really see him out there. Oh, he really trying to do it. Oh, this is my baby right here. And then once they got you, when they got that hook,
oh yeah,
that's when they slide in. And it's gradual. It's never something that happens all at once. It's like they see you. They know who you are. And then they get you. And then once they get you, they got them hooks in you, like the OJs used to say.
Y'all have to understand, you got to go into every situation with a game plan, okay?
All right.
You have to go into every situation with a game plan. So once I see you and you have everything that I need, I know I am in need.
Hobosexual.
No, that ain't nothing but a glorified bum, a scrub, opportunist, whatever. Because ain't no way. I'm sorry, I can't just depend on somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
not like that, and not even like the fact that if you can be a man and literally can take advantage of a woman in that aspect, like that's bad.
And you know what? My whole mentality, once that situation happened, it wasn't that I wasn't, I was just this weak woman and I allowed this man to take advantage of it. It was more of, after that happened, it was more of, how could you lay down beside a woman in her groceries every night?
Yeah, like you ain't bringing
so I have a question. I pose a question. Do women not take advantage of men?
Wait a minute.
Does that not happen?
Hold on,
let's go ahead and say
women
this.
do it too.
So why are we always one-sided when the situation is like
women
this?
Do it in a
like what's
aspect.
going on?
Yeah, that's where I was trying to go.
What is the different
Yeah,
aspect?
it's a different aspect, but it's no
What
better.
is the different
It can be no
We're not
better.
moving in. We have our own, and some will have their own. Some will have their own, and still, I'm gonna have one for the plumbing. I'm gonna have one to take me out to eat. I'm gonna have one for the nails. We do it differently.
All right, so let's even the playing field a little bit.
And then you have the one who wants the man that pays the $1,300 rent for just conversation.
Okay, now I will admit to you, it does go both sides.
Yeah, it do.
They got trifling men and they got trifling women out here.
Praise them.
Now, this girl right here in this clip that wanted the $1,300 for just conversation, she out of her mind.
Yeah,
now, there is a market
But
for
they are out
there's
there.
always going to be a sucker for another sucker. And the sucker gonna pay for it. So it happens, but
that just sounds like a glorified.
But it is.
It sounds like
we got.
I ain't coming off no $1,300, and not even for a lay down.
But somebody
if you ain't,
will.
no.
And that's an old tradition.
Yeah.
Women men didn't have to. You didn't have to ask a man if they were courting you and dating you.
Yep.
They made sure you had gas in your tank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your light bill was paid.
Yep.
As they're courting you, that was a thing. Now things are different.
Hold on, it depends because there's some men that do that.
Yeah,
there's some men. Still from today,
they do that.
I guess the question you have to figure out is what kind of person are you?
It's the demanding part for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna talk to you unless you pay me. You pay $1,300 bills. I'm not gonna talk. That's what blew my mind with that whole thing. But there are women that I do know. They say how they met their husband is they had to be able to pay for every single date that we went on, or they wasn't gonna pay.
This is the.
That was
you
how
have to
they
meet
knew
these
they had money.
requirements.
Paying for a date is one thing.
Well, I mean that's how it led.
And paying for every date is one thing, but paying somebody rent and paying for babysitters and child care and getting the baby to go places is another thing.
Yeah. But that was an old tradition. If a man wanted to take
there
you
are
out on
some
a date,
men that like, and how women will take advantage of a man who I genuinely like you.
Yeah.
And even though you're looking past me, but because I'm like, I'll do for you. I'll do some stuff for you because I like you and I want to be with you, but you're not giving me that time. But you will take my money if I decide I want to, pay for, a light bill or pay back, if you ask me for something, I do it for you, but you're really not doing nothing for me. You're just using me.
Correct.
I think it has to do with how much you like the person. If you like them and they like you, and it's an even exchange. Yeah. You're giving to them, they're giving to you. But if this is somebody that you don't really care for and you're just using them as a leg up, that's where you messed up at.
Yeah. Women do it too. I agree. It's not a double standard.
Yeah. Okay.
But
thank you. I was just wondering
women do it too.
because it sounded like you were saying when it comes to women, there's like a certain gauge on how much she likes the guy. If she's using it, is that what you were saying?
No, in other words, what I'm saying is this. You're not really using somebody if you like them. Right? Let's say, for example, me and you, we got thing going on. Baby, I'm feeling you, you feeling me. All right? You giving me a little bit of money, making sure that I'm good. I'm over here supporting you, making sure that you good. I might even give you a little bit of change if you need it too. It ain't bad if it's an exchange.
Okay, I understand.
But if there is nothing, if you just doing all this giving and I'm not giving anything back, and I'm like, well, he a sucker. He just over here just giving me some money. He paying my rent. That's messed up.
Right.
See, but I'll help people just in general, just us being friends. Like I got, you got those friends that y'all like family. Like I'll do anything for you.
But you got friends that'll do the same thing. They And till you ain't got no more.
But and that's funny that you just said that, because like I've been in situations which I've helped my friends, and even more recently, and because I feel like it can be a turn off when you have a woman that just has no type of responsibility, like you have kids and stuff, but you are making ends meet because you just bad with money. You just don't know how to really budget and stuff. And so, when you look for a man, you're going to look for a man that really can take care of you, because you can't take care of yourself. You barely getting by. Like, I personally don't. That's not my purpose. I don't want a woman that can barely get by. I need you to be able to always handle your stuff.
And that's why it's so important to have those kind of conversations. Like we said in the beginning, it's important for you to sit down and really vet who it is that you're with. And I don't think enough people these days take time to really sit down and figure out who it is that they dealing with.
Yeah, they don't.
Right, it's important.
Yeah, so homosexuals is a thing. I personally can speak for it. And to me, like I said, it got to a point where it was like, all right, I realize what you doing. Let's go ahead and nip that in the butt. So, but I as far as the whole double standards, I want to keep talking about that, because there are instances where you then have men, they may not necessarily move in, but you have women that give a little bit more in the beginning. Oh, they gifting him in the beginning and buying stuff for him in the beginning and doing all these things in the beginning. Men cling to that too.
She right.
Men cling to that too. They like, okay, she doing all this. I don't like her that much, but she doing all this for me. All right, I ain't gonna. I mean, I don't really like her. She ain't my type, but shoot, she gave me bill money. She shoot.
But can we say that these are the type of women that like when you look on TV and in them type of situations, it's that like the woman ain't all that, and she's going for the man that is all that, and she gonna do whatever she want to do for him, because and he using her because hey,
they both benefiting each other.
That's the whole sugar mama, sugar daddy situation.
This ain't no cougar situation. It's sugar mama, sugar daddy.
I think it's a self-esteem thing, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they get so caught up in it.
Like, if you have to do all that, like I need you to see your worth, because that man really can't appreciate you in that aspect. Like, a woman has to realize that, just like, I don't know if men really realize that, but I know women really have to,
No, I agree with that.
So you're speaking on the aspect of people choosing to do this for people.
Because it makes them feel, it gives them that self-esteem, makes them feel good.
Well, as long as I give him this, and I treat him like this,
then I know it will always.
Here, and that means that I always got him, and that means that he always want me. And the same thing goes with the sugar daddy.
Right.
I just want a little bit of time, and I want a little bit of attention. But if I had some money in this young girl pocket, like Tyrone Davis said, man, I know all these young guys do whatever it is that they want to do, but make sure you come on back home. Mm-hmm. You can get you a car, but baby, don't you go too far.
But then that brings in that whole controlling thing, because most of the time that's that leverage I have on you.
Yeah, because I actually know someone that actually has allowed the woman to move in with them. They don't really like her like that. They're not really into her like that. But he's hitting a hard time, and he's trying to, get things going. So he did move her in. Now, he was married before, but to him, it's more, okay, well, we can kind of, try to make it work, because, she getting ready to go back to school, and, I'm building this business over here, and, but the thing about it is, if she ever found out, that woman crazy. So I don't know how that's gonna turn out. But yeah, I do know someone personally did that, and for him, to me, he is the type of person that needs that self-esteem boost. So it always has to be in control.
So it's almost like kind of like settling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to think about it. Anytime that you settling, you're kind of selling yourself short just a little bit, and especially if it's somebody that you don't care about like that. I've heard somebody say that, hey man, if I'm paying all the money and I'm taking care of the bills, man, basically I'm gonna treat this woman like she a little kid. She ain't got no rights. So that's kind of messed up. But he's just like, well, if she want to act like a little kid, I'm gonna treat her like a little kid. And I was just like, dang.
Okay.
Well, so if we're talking about like settling, it's more so like, oh well, like I'll grow to love you. I'll grow to like I'm just gonna deal with you, and I know like
that never happens like that.
No,
but some it's rare, but it's not that rare.
This isn't the old school days where people are just getting married because they need that companionship.
Yeah.
They need to procreate. Like we're a different set of folks now.
Mm-hmm.
So we can keep some of the traditions it is if we want to figure out how to maintain a family structure or how we want to do standards, but we have to adapt them to fit the times it is that we're in.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, times are changing. Like we was talking about, like everything is not as traditional as it was before. You got women have came a long way, to be way more independent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, even when you look at a man, we're kind of like, oh well, like it can be intimidating for men, because it's like, hey, you got everything, what can I do? Like, you don't need nothing. So then you get that kind of can be like one of that a blocker.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're gonna like, oh, well, I don't think I should pursue her because I don't feel like I can match her. But it's not about matching. Like, in my opinion, I'm not trying to match you. If you got,
I like a strong woman.
yeah, like I like if you
That's me. Man,
like,
you want to do more.
Like I'm all for women. Like if you have more than me, you make more money. Also, like I love that. Like that's not gonna make me hesitant to be with you.
Right.
One thing I do know about men is I know that men like to feel needed. So let's just say I get in a situation where I do make more than you. Let me just lay down and fall down on the floor real quick. Baby, change this tire. I can't pick this up. Can you open this jar? Because I know that men love to feel useful.
See, we like to feel needed in the right situations and in the right way. We don't want to do all this extra work. Don't do it.
You can change the tire.
If I don't leave the door open for you to feel needed, then you're not gonna stay.
I don't really.
All depends.
That's not. I don't really.
Men have.
I don't
to
have
feel
to feel
needed
in that aspect.
I mean,
like don't ask me to change the tire because I'm like, nah, we gonna call roadside assistance.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be that circumstance. It could be another circumstance.
Right situations.
A man has to feel like he's needed.
It's an ego. It's an ego.
It's an ego boost.
Yeah, you have to stroke a man's ego. That is where that came. I'm gonna say, well, I ain't no doctor, but that is where that came from. Stroke a man's ego.
You have to.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's not changing the tire.
okay, you ain't gotta change the tire. Just put some gas in my car. That's all I want you to do. Make sure we straight.
Lord
Make sure
oh, baby, I like the way you changed that tire today.
I love it how you change the tire every day.
Can you do that again?
As you know, we definitely hit some good points and some good topics. As we bring this to a close, I'm glad that we had this panel here, to discuss these trending topics, as I can say. Again, my name is Lamar. I have been your host for this evening, or this episode, and with my lovely ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to, I only got a few seconds, but we can have any type of social media stuff added to the thing. But again, we thank y'all for listening and hope y'all enjoyed this time.